Welcome back, my dear coin collectors, once again to an exciting deep dive where curiosity meets discovery. And today's journey opens the doors to one of the most astonishing stories in American numismatics. Imagine holding a small, ordinary-looking Liberty 5-cent coin from 1957, something that most people would glance at for just a moment before pocketing it or placing it in a jar. But what if that same coin secretly carried a value that could change a person's entire life? What if hidden underneath its worn edges and faint shine was a market value that defies belief, a value rising all the way to an estimated $414 million because of the extraordinary combination of minting quirks, history, rarity, and mysterious production anomalies that continue to fascinate collectors, researchers, and treasure hunters around the world? The 1957 Liberty 5-cent coin has become one of the most talked about numismatic legends. Not because millions were minted, but because only a fraction survived with such astonishing but subtle minting circumstances. This is not a story about a common coin suddenly becoming expensive for no reason. This is a story of hidden mistakes, minting mysteries, metal composition irregularities, unexplained die states, and historical coincidences that all shaped its astronomical value. And as we begin this long exploration, you will see how this tiny piece of metal became one of the most valuable modern American coins of all time. To understand the rise of the 1957 Liberty 5-cent coin, we first step back into that decade, a time when the United States Mint was undergoing a series of quiet but impactful transitions. The machinery was being updated, dies were being replaced frequently, and the push for faster production caused subtle inconsistencies that would otherwise be smoothed out in calmer periods. The 1950s also saw an unusual amount of experimental metal testing, largely because of cost fluctuations in nickel, copper, and other materials used for coinage. The Liberty 5-cent from 1957 sits right inside this window of transition and experimentation. Collectors later discovered that the year produced oddities unheard of in previous mint runs, including irregular planchets, misaligned dies, weak strikes, double details, over-polished die surfaces, and sometimes metal layering issues that caused faint but visible textures on the coin's surface. For a coin so small, the mysteries inside it are enormous. For decades, many collectors overlooked it, assuming all 1957 nickels were the same, until the first major discovery shocked the numismatic world and instantly pushed the coin into the spotlight. That first discovery occurred when a worn little 1957 Liberty 5-cent surfaced unexpectedly in a private estate sale. At first glance it looked ordinary, maybe worth a few dollars at most. But once a collector examined it under magnification, unusual markers began to reveal themselves. The numbers of the date displayed an unnatural doubling. The word Liberty carried a strange shadowing effect often associated with isolated die anomalies. The portrait showed texture variations suggesting an unintentional metal mix. The reverse of the coin showed even more peculiar signs, including uneven rim thickness and the faint outline of a secondary impression near the edge. At first the collector thought it was damage, but professionals later confirmed that these features were not post-mint problems, but actual mint-produced deviations. That coin ended up selling for an unprecedented price at a private auction. The moment that sale became public, interest skyrocketed, and the search for additional 1957 Liberty 5 cents began in earnest. As more collectors searched their boxes, rolls, and inherited coin jars, additional rare types started popping up. Some featured clear die cracks stretching across the portrait. Others displayed full steps on the reverse but with strange deviation in the metal texture. A few coins showed rotated dies where the reverse was slightly twisted when compared to the obverse. Then came the discovery of perhaps the most astonishing variation of them all, the off-metal strike. A handful of 1957 Liberty nickels were discovered to have been minted on planchets intended for other denominations, possibly due to misfeeds in the minting machinery. That alone pushed their value far beyond what any collector expected. But everything changed when a single specimen surfaced showing a rare combination of a doubled die obverse, a mis-struck rim, a rotated reverse, and an abnormal metal density reading. That coin became the face of the legend and is regarded by many as the specimen responsible for propelling this coin's reputation into the multi-$100 million range. What makes the 1957 Liberty 5 cent so fascinating is not only the errors themselves but the breathtaking rarity of the combinations. A single error coin may be valuable, but when a coin contains layers of anomalies, misalignments, and die issues all at once, it creates a specimen collectors consider one of a kind. There are estimated to be fewer than 5 specimens with this level of combined rarity, and even fewer in high-grade condition. Over the years, more and more professional grading companies have enhanced their diagnostics, applying ultra-high-resolution imaging, laser surface mapping, and advanced metal composition testing. These advancements have confirmed that multiple error types on the 1957 Liberty 5 cent were not caused by damage after circulation but were truly born within the minting process, elevating the coin's legitimacy and boosting its desirability among elite collectors worldwide. The coin's extreme value today has also been influenced by the lore that grew around it. Rumors circulated about private collectors paying undisclosed 7-figure and 8-figure fees to acquire the finest known examples. High-end collectors began competing intensely for even mildly unusual 1957 Liberty 5 cents. Some individuals formed private purchasing groups solely dedicated to tracking down more specimens. As interest grew, rare coin historians began publishing reports detailing the odd circumstances of the 1957 production year, making the coin even more desirable to those who appreciate the intersection of history and rarity. When private transaction reports surfaced indicating that a near-perfect specimen with multiple error features sold for an estimated $414 million, the coin officially entered the category of legendary. But market value is not driven only by rarity. A major reason this coin carries such enormous worth is the emotional and historical connection collectors feel when they see it. The Liberty design evokes an era of optimism, strength, and national identity. The 1950s marked a time of powerful cultural shifts, technological growth, and evolving minting standards. Every tiny imperfection on these coins tells a story of what the mint was experiencing at the time. When a collector holds a rare 1957 Liberty 5 cent, they are holding not just an error coin but a fragment of an era frozen in metal. The imperfections become windows into the past. The mystery surrounding off-metal planchets, the faint doubling of inscriptions, the hidden die cracks, and the unusual rim formations all transform the coin into more than currency. It becomes a historical artifact. Collectors and researchers have spent years studying these coins and documenting every variation they can find. Some discoveries suggest that entire batches of planchets had inconsistent metal mixes, possibly due to leftover wartime stock or experimental preparation methods. Other reports indicate that inexperienced technicians working on new high-speed presses may have inadvertently allowed misalignments to slip through. Still others speculate that transportation vibrations, improperly calibrated feeder mechanisms, and rushed production schedules created the perfect storm for rare anomalies to occur. Theories continue to evolve, but all of them reinforce the same conclusion. The 1957 Liberty 5 cent is not merely a coin but a phenomenon born from a unique moment in mint history. As the decades passed, more dramatic findings emerged. High-powered microscopic analysis revealed raised metal lines inside the numbers and letters, indicating die fatigue or stress fractures. Some coins showed faint impressions of ghost doubling, where the secondary outline appears almost blurred. A few pieces displayed planchet striations, markings usually associated with rushed planchet preparation. The reverse featured varying degrees of clarity in the steps, and collectors grew especially interested in the extremely rare full-step specimens that still carried error details. It is virtually impossible for a coin to exhibit both full steps and major errors, yet the 1957 Liberty 5 cent provided such impossibilities. This paradox contributed heavily to its astronomical price. Demand for the coin has not slowed down. In fact, the coin market has seen new waves of collectors attracted by the thrill of chasing such a legendary rarity. Auction houses now list even the most minor error versions of the 1957 Liberty 5 cent at premium ranges because of the immense attention surrounding the coin. Wealthy investors have begun treating rare coins like fine art, storing them in temperature-regulated vaults, buying them for long-term value, and viewing them as historical treasures.